Statistics, discrete random variables, past paper questions. Let's start. A spinner can land on numbers 2, 4, 5, 7, or 8 only. The random variable x represents the number that is spinner lands on when it is spun once. The probability distribution of x is given in the table below. So the probability of x being 2 is 0.25, and the probability of x being 4 is 0.3. 5, 0.2, 7, 0.1, and 8 is 0.5. So find the probability of 2x minus 3 being greater than 5. So when x is equal to 2, 2x minus 3 is basically 2 multiplied by 2 minus 3. So 4 minus 3, so 1. So this is not greater than 5. So we're not taking this probability. When x is equal to 4, we're basically saying 2 multiplied by 4 minus 3, which is 8 minus 3, which is 5. And 5 is not greater than 5. Therefore, this does not match our criteria. When x is equal to 5, we're saying that 2 multiplied by 5 minus 3. So 10 minus 3 is 7, and 7 is greater than 5. So this does match our criteria. And from here on out, they're just getting bigger and bigger. So we know that all of these values match our criteria. So let's just make sure that the rest of these values match this criteria. 7 multiplied by 2 is 14, minus 3 is 11, and 11 is greater than 5. 8 multiplied by 2 is 16, minus 3 is 13, which is greater than 5. So these three variables right here match our criteria of 2x minus 3 being greater than 5. Therefore, we add their probabilities. So 0.2 plus 0.1 plus 0.15. And these three probabilities added together is 0.45, which is the answer of the first part. We add the probabilities because we want the probability of x being 5 and the probability of x being 7 and the probability of x being 8. Therefore, we add all the probabilities. The second part says that given that e of x is equal to 4.6, e of x being the mean, show that var of x is equal to 4.14. And as we know, the formula for var of x is e of x squared minus e of x all squared, right? And we already have the value of e of x, which is 4.6. So we just square that and we get rid of this part of the equation. Now we have to find e of x squared. Now what is x? X is basically 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. So what's x squared? 4, 16, 25, 49, 64, right? So what is e of x squared? Basically the mean of x squared. Since this is x squared, we're searching for the mean of x squared, therefore the mean of these numbers. Therefore, the mean of x squared is equal to 4 multiplied by 0.25, right? So 4 multiplied by 0.25 plus 16, which is x squared, multiplied by the probability here. So 16 multiplied by 0.3 plus 25 multiplied by 0.2, right? 25 multiplied by 0.2 plus, right, we're adding all these, plus 49 multiplied by 0.1, 49 multiplied by 0.1, in addition to 64 multiplied by 0.15, 64 multiplied by 0.15. If we add all those numbers together, after we multiply each row and then add everything together, just plug it into your calculator, we would find out that e of x squared is equal to 25.3. And the e of x all squared, well, we basically just take the 4.6 and plug into your calculator 4.6 squared, and that would be 21.16. Since the formula is e of x squared minus e of x all squared, we take 25.3 and we subtract 21.16 from it. And the final answer would be 4.14, which is basically the same as the var of x, and this was a show that question. So we already know that the answer for var of x is 4.14, but we need to prove it. And as we just did, this is correct. So now the random variable y is equal to a multiplied by x minus b, where a and b are positive constants. So we deal with this type of questions in two ways: the e and the variance. So in terms of the e of y, it's basically equal to a multiplied by the e of x plus b. So a multiplied by e of x, which is 4.6, plus b. And we know that the e of y is 13.4. So now we have an equation for the e of y. Let's create an equation for the variance. So we know that the variance of y is equal to a squared multiplied by 4.14, which is the variance of x. So 4.14. And we do not have b, we do not have another constant. And we know that the variance of y is 66.24. And that is equal to a squared multiplied by 4.14. And if we divide both sides by 4.14, 4.14, and then we take the square root of both sides, just normal algebraic manipulation, we would find out that a is equal to 4. And then we would take this 4 and substitute it into the formula we got up here, and we will end up with 13.4 is equal to 4 multiplied by 4.6 plus b. And then again, algebraic manipulation, divide by 4 multiplied by 4.6 on both sides. And then after you do that, you will end up with the value of b being 5. So a is 4 and b is 5. And we are done with part C. So basically, they just brought it from backwards. We just need to use the information we know that the expected value of y is equal to a multiplied by the expected value of x plus b. However, with variance, we use a squared and there is no b. So simple stuff right here.